Let's see if this works. All right. I believe we are streaming. All right. I think if I hit this, got it. Okay. I think we are up on YouTube and Facebook now. Hi, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
If you missed us last week, it's because we all missed it last week.
Mhm.
But we're back. We have a lot to catch up on.
We
Let me
are
find
back.
let me find this button and let's get this started. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Share screen. I haven't opened somewhere. Let's do this.
Now, the Wicked Fast Podcast with Lungboy and Timmy G.
Hey, it's Ryan Blaney.
Hey, this is Kevin Harvick.
Hey, this is Dale Jr.
Hey, this is Jeff Gordon.
Hey, this is Corey Board. Hey, guys, it's Chase Elliott.
Hey, this is Alex Bowman.
Hey, this is Joey Logano.
Hey, this is Kyle Busch.
Hey, it's Austin Dillon.
You're listening to the
Wicked Fast Podcast.
Come on, try it a little more New England.
Okay, watch this. Hey, it's Austin Dillon. You're listening to the Wicked Fast Podcast.
Wicked Fast.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Hello, this is the Wicked Fast Podcast.
Now, to anyone out there who wants to go fast, anybody.
I want to go fast.
Drivers, start your engines!
Yeah!
All right. Yeah. Wicked Fast Podcast.
Hey,
Hello. Episode 289 coming at you. Brian Bell here.
Timmy G over here. Hello. What's up? What's happening?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, it's been a minute. What with my new work schedule, Timmy's current work schedule, sometimes things just, don't line up. So we will come at you when we come at you, hopefully on Wednesdays when we can. And today's show is brought to you by half days at public schools. My kids are already home. So
Interesting they didn't have it yesterday for Super Tuesday.
No, only the kindergarten, the school where the kindergartners are, is closed in our town for voting. So all the other schools they go.
Those kindergartners, they just have it so easy.
They do, nap time, Jello, whatever. Anyway, so we got a lot to catch up on, and of course,
Jello.
Yeah, why not? What's wrong with Jello?
Oh.
So it's always room for Jello.
Fair enough.
Snack pack. How about that? Snack pack.
Yeah. No,
Is that better?
It's fair.
All right. So we got a lot to catch up on. And of course, you can find us on the socials at Wicked Fast Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, where this is streaming live, I think, or our YouTube channel at Wicked Fast Podcast, where you can hit the little subscribe button and then you get the notification when we go live, because who knows when it'll be. Maybe it'll be, 11:40 on a Wednesday. Maybe it'll be like 9 at night on a Monday. You never know.
Hold on to your butts.
We'll keep you on your toes. And, of course, on the Twitter X at Wicked Fast PDCST. And thanks to our friends over at Big Night Media for still hosting our show. I saw like Kim Kerrigan doing a podcast out of our cool studio over there.
Yeah, she's now part of the La Familia.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Good deal.
All
what else
shapes and sizes.
Yeah, there's those two guys with the beards that do a show too, right?
Yes, Jeff London and Marky P, the Dos Blokes podcast.
I like those guys.
They're very funny, and they have some very funny stories from the hospitality/entertainment industry.
Cool. All right, so check all those out wherever you get your podcasts, and there you go. So we got to catch up right from Daytona, really.
Yeah, because we missed last week. Yeah, we got to recap that.
Do a quick recap. We can catch up on all the fantasy standings, because I jumped in, and I'll tell you how Kyle Busch continues to screw me every week.
A tradition like no other, I feel like.
It's good to be back.
Yep.
All right, so Daytona. Your
Daytona.
Your car number got the win.
Gang. The fourth win for the number 24 car. Kind of almost like too scripted, though. Like how people always say the NFL scripted and like all this stuff, but like for Hendrick Motorsports to win a race on a Monday because the race was postponed.
Yep.
Which was 40 years to the day of their very first race, and how popular Hendrick is and how respected it almost feels a little weird.
Yeah.
And then, the 48 car coming in second. Like, you could argue who's better, Jimmy or Jeff. And yeah, it's just it was almost too scripted as a Hendrick guy. I was almost just like,
You're like,
because when
"Come
he
on."
said it post race in the interview, Mr. Hendrick, he's like, he couldn't script it any better. And I wanted to be like,
Who's writing your scripts?
no shit, right? Like, yeah, you have like WWE level script writers right here. It was a borderline predicted, but happy for William Byron to win his first ever Daytona 500. But it is like, I do think, and I was talking about this with my buddy Dave. I do think William Byron winning the Daytona 500 and this Netflix show coming out, I do think that William Byron has more responsibility and pressure on him than other drivers may think he does, because he came from the world of computers. Like, for example, my cousin Jamie, he has a son that has it's called Micro Madness. They literally started a podcast last week, and all it does is it talks about the micro sprint world up in the Northeast.
Really? That's cool.
It's so cool. There's one episode out right now. My Aunt Kathy texted me about it. And, you look at him and you're like, okay, this kid is going to be a legit racer down the road. He travels all across the Northeast, winning races. His name is Lucas, and he started a podcast. But when you look at William Byron, he was just like, yeah, I had a really nice computer with a really big hard drive, and I've gone racing behind it. And I won the Daytona 500 because of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's so interesting that you still have like these, grassroots kind of race car drivers, like
A couple different ways to get to the dance.
What would he be? My second cousin, kind of?
Yeah, something like that.
Anyways,
Twice
my
removed,
relative,
I don't know.
Lucas, who's doing micro sprint dirt tracks up and down the Northeast, maybe has a shot, and William Byron maybe has a shot as an iRacing driver, and then wins the Daytona 500 in his third or fourth season with Rick Hendrick. It's crazy.
It's just like that movie that came out where
the Gran Turismo movie.
Gran Turismo, yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly think that like if iRacing continues to be as popular as it is, that we could see more William Byrons in the future. And you could argue that's bad for the sport, and it could affect, someone like my relative Lucas of being like,
it's just a different way to get there. I mean, it's
and it's never been that way before. And I think that's what's great, that NASCAR is willing to, grow like that.
I think it opens it up to guys that, because I mean, it's still expensive to get a good iRacing setup, but it's not as expensive as like running an actual car and
traveling around and hauling around and hotels. And William Byron could run 22 races in one day if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
So that's what's really cool. And obviously I feel like he has an advantage over some of the drivers too, because he's been doing it for so long. So when he sits in the simulator, it's just, oh, hey, it's me 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Just living my life.
Not too late, Timmy. We got to get you a better iRacing setup.
Well, no, I don't know if the next life's a thing, but the next life, I'm going to be a race car driver.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to be good at it, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
All right.
By the way, speaking of fun,
yeah.
Any word on, you're an engine, you're locked into the streets.
Oh, yeah.
Any word on when this F1 bar is going to be opening in the Seaport?
No, but I drove past it the other day.
Yeah.
Because we went to Putt Shack. I was scoping it out for Jason Tatum. And it's a great place. Putt Shack is really fun.
I wish they let you buy 18 holes versus 9. But besides that, it is a nice place.
We could have done 18. We could have when we signed
but
up.
I thought you could only reserve for 9. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wish you could reserve for 18 holes instead of going.
I don't know. They asked us if we wanted a second 9.
Oh.
And we should have said yes, but we were like, yeah, 9's fine. And then it's really quick, but it's really fun. The computer does everything.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm very interested when that F1 bar opens, because maybe that's where I
saw that when we were walking around Seaport.
Pick up a side gig, because basically what I've heard is just F1 simulators, and then it's also like food and drinks.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
But anyways,
could be soon.
Shout out to William Byron for winning that, because he clearly didn't have the strongest car all day. He was just, that that wreck on lap 192 that basically was the entire field.
Yeah.
Definitely helped him out because Penske was really dominating, you know?
Not only was it the entire field, it was basically my entire fantasy.
Yeah.
Like every fantasy driver I had just was in that wreck. And I really appreciated that. That was great.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy either. I was at the Hooters in Saugus and all my Chase Elliott Hooters gear looking like an absolute idiot. And I reacted like an absolute idiot when that happened, especially when Chase kind of snuck through. But
yeah.
But you know, the reason I don't
we'll
want to say
have
reason.
we'll have to come down. There's a Hooters in Dedham. We'll have to hit that one.
Oh, okay. The Daytona rub wings. I
Sam
could
wants to-
literally eat for the rest of my life. They're
All right.
absolutely incredible. They're absolutely incredible. But like Joey Logano was a part of that.
Yeah.
Joey Logano won the pole. Joey Logano led 45 laps. His teammate, Ryan Blaney, won stage 2, led a few dozen laps or maybe just a dozen laps. And Austin Cindric was literally in 4th before Ross Chastain to try to be a little aggressive, even though he kind of did get pushed and I think someone did let up. But that's here nor there. But the Penske cars, I mean, Ryan Blaney could have been...
Blaney had a great run.
Ryan Blaney could have been the Jeff Gordon of winning a championship and then winning in the following, but that's just not how Daytona works ever. You know,
No.
When there was like 12 laps to go, you just say to yourself, none of these cars are going to win that are up front. And it works every single time. But there were some great finishes by some smaller teams like Corey LaJoie came in 4th. Trust me. If my hot take prediction on episode 288 that Corey LaJoie was going to win a race and then he comes and wins the Daytona 500, I might have recorded a podcast by myself last week.
Yeah.
And just absolutely just trashed everyone. But AJ Allmendinger finished 6th. John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones with Legacy Motor Club, they finished on the top 10. So it sucked that it got moved to Monday, but I kind of liked it because there was nothing really else going on. But no issues. No issues with the Daytona 500. Thought the race
it was good racing. It's what you expect. It's really what you expect. And I was actually, if you want to move on to the next one, to Atlanta, I thought the racing in Atlanta was better. Like it was crazy.
If every single track was like
Atlanta,
wide, if every single track was like Atlanta, NASCAR would be as popular as the NFL. I know that's an extremely bold take, but it really and truly would be. That was just so much fun. I know the drivers really don't like it because they're so on edge, and a lot of them were like, we were just basically on ice the entire time. But watching it from the television was awesome.
And a lot of because I was thinking a lot of these drivers, especially the guys that were in wrecks, were going to be like, this is awful. They're like, that was great racing. Like, like to a man, like most of the drivers coming out of that, even the ones in wrecks, were saying how good the racing was. They could, they had multiple lanes going. It was super speedway-esque, but they could move around a little bit more. Like it was fun.
And as much as I love it, and I think it really sucked in, because like if you watch that Netflix NASCAR show that I'm having a brain fart on, if you actually watch that show and then you watch the first 2 races of the season, you're locked in, right?
Yeah.
Like sure, they had to unfortunately go to Las Vegas afterwards, but you're locked in. Like this is I read something that since 2022, this is the 5th race in a row that Atlanta has had 14 or more lead changes.
Wow.
That's what you want, right? And then, like, we haven't even talked about the finish yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unbelievable. Mike Joy, a guy who literally could talk about a paint chip in beautiful detail.
Did you get that article I sent you about Mike Joy, by the way?
Yeah, I've read it. Yeah, he's the best.
Really cool. About his car collection. Very cool.
Yeah, so cool. But, like, he was speechless.
Yeah.
Speechless. And by the way, how good is Kevin Harvick in the booth?
He's great. He really is.
It's literally like Larry Mack and DW and Mike Joy again, just the younger version. A guy who really knows the car inside and out, and then a guy who just won't stop talking.
Yep.
But it's fun.
Yep, and he just knows what he's talking about. And like he's the kind of guy, I feel like he preps for the booth just like the way he would prep for a race, and like he's just very well prepared, very put together, and just knows what he's talking about.
And him,
unlike us, we don't really know anything, but we'll still talk.
And him and Clint go back and forth like, you're wrong. No, you're right. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. And it was really cool. But Daniel Suarez, for staying on that outside lane, the entire time, absolutely bananas. And the fact that he got damaged early on in the race and still won that race, and I think that's what a lot of people like about the Daytona 500 is it's a little luck, it's a little teamwork. Like if you spin out early in that race, you still got a shot.
Yeah,
like you still have a chance of winning it. But it was just absolutely unbelievable racing, start to finish. I mean, 4 wide for like a solid lap is bonkers. And for that to happen multiple times, and it just shows that none of the drivers were even scared. Like after the first time it happened, they're like, "Oh, it actually wasn't that bad. Let's do it again."
Like I was watching the race on my iPad on the coffee table, and the family was watching other stuff, and so the TV was on. But Sam was sitting next to me, and he looked over, and he's like, "Are they 4 wide?" I'm like, "Yeah, buddy." I'm like, it is crazy. It is
you just giggling. You just giggling in the corner. You're like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
Yeah, but that was an amazing finish. And hi, Annie. Lila's home.
Hey, Lila.
Hang on, she can't get her shoe off.
Oh no!
Let me see your shoe.
Like we said earlier, this podcast is brought to you in part by Half Days.
That's right. Half Days. Hope you're having a great time there, teachers, with your pizza party and beer, or whatever you're doing on the rest of the day.
No, they actually have to sit in like conferences. My sister's told me about it. It's actually kind of crazy.
What? Yes, clean up though. All right. Anyway, now back to racing. So yeah, the finish, and we'll cover fantasy because we got 3 to catch up on. But this is the race when Kyle Busch, I had him in my lineup, and coming down to that third segment, I'm like, there was like that wreck. Was it like the very last second?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and the app was freezing up, so I'm like, ooh, let me switch Kyle out right because he was, and I switched him out and got him in the garage just in time. And then he goes and finishes third.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. That's for sure. Like, for example, I had Todd Gilliland in my office. In my office. I mean, if you wanted to hang out in my office, that'd be cool. But like I had him, and he literally was in the top 5 basically the entire day. He led the second most laps in the race, and then he just had shit luck.
Yeah.
And it just absolutely sucked. But Front Row Motorsports, watch out for them. I'm not saying they're going to change the game. It's just Michael McDowell front row. Then he got the pole, Todd Gilliland. I feel like they found something, and they're going to run with it. And I love that.
Yeah. Well, they have a good partnership, and like it's good stuff. Yeah.
Shout out to Kaz. Kaz finished 14th. That was so effing cool.
Yeah.
Like Kaz is a respectable, good cup driver now.
Yeah. He led a couple laps just because of pit strategies and stuff.
Awesome.
Like, all right.
I'm so pumped for him.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped for him. I mean, now obviously we got to see him, at these intermediate tracks like Las Vegas and things like that, but it will still be very interesting. But the thing that I was fascinated about,
I'm looking forward to seeing him on a road course. He's good on a road course, but go ahead.
Well, because of this race, was how angry NASCAR was at Joey Logano with his glove.
This is so interesting.
I had no idea. But then
when you saw what the actual glove does, because he got caught for a webbed glove.
Yeah, it was like he was a duck.
Like a swimmer. Like I could see it being a problem if you were a swimmer.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane.
And
how angry NASCAR was about this.
Yeah, and
how they didn't notice it earlier.
But how it actually affects the car, because I'm like,
is bonkers.
Cares about a glove, but then you realize how tight the arrow is on these cars, because what the driver would do. So Joey Logano, to get a faster lap, he would cover a portion of his window net with his hand, and with the web glove he could cover more. And it helped his speed because not as much, air was coming into the car. Basically, right? I mean, is that? And
yeah, basically, yeah. In a nutshell, that's the best way to describe it.
and because there's like that little corner vent in the like corner of the window where air is vented into the car. So if he puts a hand over it, it blocks it and makes him, it gives him better aero, but if he's got that web glove, he can like cover the whole thing. And I'm just like, who's thinking
Most of those
that?
guys are talented enough to even just drive with one hand around that track so they can just block it. And
right?
Pure brilliance.
But
he got caught. Well, like, that's the thing. Like, that's when, that's when, like, when you think about cheating, like, do you remember that there are cameras in your car, dude?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
right.
They're gonna see it.
I mean, it's one thing to cover
especially
it.
when they
have they told other drivers they can't even cover that, or is that still a move they can do?
Yeah, I feel like that's you're opening up a lot of things. But like,
I know
the thing is like when you're like, you watch these guys put on the gloves, and it's not just like la da 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 da. It's full extension, like and they're flexing to make sure it's tight enough. Read the room and or the car in this, like they're gonna see that. And the other thing that's fascinating about all of it too is like, of course there's gonna be, like, if he did this at like Phoenix this weekend, right? There probably is still a car camera, but there may not be one. But at Daytona, in these super speedways, to keep the cars safe, they are going to make sure that they have a camera in every single mother flipping car.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Joey was just like, oh, there you are. Hey, look at this. I'm now Darkwing Duck. Like,
Yeah.
Like, it was just absolutely crazy. And then the fact that, like, to me, NASCAR was like, how dare you, 10K fine, and you won the pole. You're going to do a drive-through lap too. Like, holy crap. But Atlanta, great success.
Yes.
I like.
Excellent race. Excellent race. And we'll cover, we'll do a full fantasy workup on all three races after we hit Vegas, because your favorite track.
Yeah, so Las Vegas. And the first compliment I've ever seen in Las Vegas actually kind of made some sense to me. So I was reading an article on one of I think it was motorsports.com. Don't quote me on that. And they said that even though, Las Vegas isn't the most popular track, this is a very important racetrack and a great way to start the season, because if you think about it, the first two races are just crapshoots, right? And now Las Vegas is your opportunity to actually see where you are, what your off season was like, how far you've come, how far you've gone back, what steps you need to take to move forward, and all these type of things, because there are a lot of intermediate tracks like that. Obviously they're all different in their own
standardized,
different way. Standardized, like this is and it's just Las Vegas is the bottom of the barrel standard. But yeah, Kyle Larson won, and
well, I mean, Hendrick has won like
4 out of the last 5,
but and even more than that, like out of the last like 9 races, they've won a ton here.
Just absolutely crazy. But like, this is where I get a little angry about Las Vegas, because NASCAR, Daytona was tough. They still got 6 million viewers, the second most viewers that they've ever gotten on a Monday after the one that happened in 2022 when Donald Trump was there. That was the direct quote in the tweet. Okay. The Las Vegas race viewership was up 30. I'm sorry. The Atlanta race viewership was up 33% from last year.
Okay.
So NASCAR's got something going.
Well, how much of that is from Full Speed on Netflix?
Yep,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They have something going, and then you give them Las Vegas. Now, to be fair to Las Vegas viewership was up 9% from last year. So things are only going up. But it just, if you're a fan, you're like, did this guy really just win stages 1 and 2 and
led
won
181 laps
and led 181 laps
of 267?
Yeah, like, ugh, like that stinks.
Yeah.
But when you have a dominating car, you have a dominating car. And the end of it was kind of exciting. Tyler Reddick had a shot.
Yeah.
And I think Tyler Reddick is really, really good. And if he just has a normal day I feel like he could compete with anyone. It's just he slid into that pit stall, and that kind of sucked. But like he's really good.
Yeah, and I feel like he's probably going to have that kind of season. You know, like those seasons like Joey Logano would have when it's like he'd be really high in the standings because he's just very consistent and like just has good runs, and then every once in a while he'll pop for a win. Like I feel like he's just going to have a really good, consistent season. Like he's last year he had great runs last year. So yeah, he's like I feel like he's an underrated driver, and he's definitely
No, he is. I mean, and he's also part of a smaller team, Toyota. You don't know what they're going to be doing with their new car design this year, the Camry SE or whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, he's very good. But so isn't Chevy this year. You know, Chevy now has all 3 playoff spots so far. Hendrick has 2 out of the 3.
Yep.
You know, it's tough.
Which,
but
I mean, Hendrick last year was just, and still
they
really
lights out.
Yeah. And Bowman, I think, has started in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that Alex Bowman is back, and Chase, even though he did win stage 1 and he's currently in the top 10 for points, he still doesn't have a top 10 this year.
Yeah, but he's right there.
No, he is.
He's right there.
But yeah, some other things from Vegas that kind of stuck out to me. Spire Motorsports. I know we talked about Corey LaJoie earlier, but Corey LaJoie was a top 10 car all day long. Unfortunately, had that spin late in the race, but Carson Hocevar finished 15th. Well, that's the thing. Like Kaz in Atlanta was the highest finishing rookie.
Yeah.
I love that. And then Carson Hocevar this time as well. And then Chris Buescher had a loose tire and hit the wall so hard that they had to red flag that race.
Yeah.
Loudon has pretty strong walls. From what I've heard and seen, they have the strongest of walls and would have never.
We get the best walls.
I just sounded like Donald Trump right there. It's just the strongest of walls. Just
the best walls.
Yeah, the best walls. A wall that couldn't be stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then had to red flag the race. I'm just glad Christopher Buescher's okay, because if you hit a wall hard enough, they got to repair it in one of those tracks. That is no joke.
That because can't feel good. Yeah,
and because of that loose wheel, 2 crew members suspended.
You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel.
Yeah, but I think to recap these 3 races, I made a couple notes. Like, the Chevys are continuing their dominance with this next gen car.
Yep.
They won 18 races last year. 6 out of the 8 spots in the standings are Chevy so far. But Trackhouse, like, it's just not Hendrick. Trackhouse is doing well. Daniel Suarez won in Atlanta. Ross Chastain, 7th in Atlanta, 4th in Las Vegas after a speeding penalty. So I think Ross Chastain might have had an off year last year, but maybe he refocused. Eyeing the prize. Yeah. Justin Marks. Maybe throwing some more money into some research and things like that. But
I also feel like he hasn't been as like making questionable moves. I feel like he's been a little more under control. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. And I know a lot of people were upset with him about Daytona 500, but if you actually watch the whole thing, it really wasn't his fault. He just thought he had a hole.
Yeah.
Got bumped. And then someone checked up in front of him. So like where last year people would have been like, classic Chastain.
Here it comes. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Now, Ross Chastain did spin out Chase Elliott at Las Vegas. You cannot tell me differently.
All right, so maybe that's a horrible take. Maybe he is still the same old guy, just spinning guys every week.
You could argue that maybe he didn't do it on purpose, where maybe last year, the year before, it was like obvious.
Yeah.
But
maybe he's just gotten better at making it not look as obvious.
Yeah, it's growth. I love that. I love that. But Toyota's new car, I know we were just talking about it, but like 7 out of the top 16 spots are Toyotas. And Ford only has 2.
Well, Blaney
top 16.
Blaney's got a great start to the season.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Off a championship.
Blaney has a shot of going back to back. After the 3rd race last year, he was 15th in the standings. He is 3rd this year in the standings after 3 races. So there is no hangover or championship hangover for him in any way, shape, or form.
I feel like if anything, he's driving with confidence. You know, I mean, he's really like playing well, driving well, like driving it with confidence. So I'm thinking about when Sam Bell plays well, I'm like, play with confidence. Just, you play better when you're confident. And he's coming
a
off a championship and he's pretty
a
damn
championship
confident.
can give you all the confidence that you need, right?
Yeah.
But to do that well, I mean, it does help that the first two tracks are basically super speedway tracks, and he is
great
top two, if not top three in the circuit. So,
but he was right there. He was right there at Vegas. So
first three races were fun. I mean, the Atlanta race definitely. I mean, the finish that will go down in history.
Amazing. Yeah,
3/1000ths of a second. Like that's bananas.
Yeah,
absolutely bananas.
And man, I thought Blaney had it too. Oh,
yeah, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure Mike Joy said, "I don't know," and Boyer was like, "It was Blaney," and Harvick was like, "I don't know." And then like the picture almost like the picture almost looked like it was like photoshopped that they wanted Suarez to win, but it wasn't. Like it was just absolutely crazy. But the only other big news over these last 3 weeks is a very shocking move, to say the least. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. has moved on from NBC. He will not be in the booth for them this season, which is very surprising. Arguably very stupid by NBC and very smart for Dale Jr. So he's not going to be in the booth at all this year.
But I did see the new camper that he got.
Okay, then it's probably because of this deal
and
that he got.
He got a new fifth wheel that is insane. It's got 5 different pop outs. It's gigantic. It's got a big master bedroom. He took a little tour on his Instagram, and he and the fam are gonna travel and do some trips. And I love that with his 2 little girls. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great.
I love that. I would love to do that.
Would I rather have him in the booth? Yeah, but he's gonna have a great time, and I think it's awesome. Yeah,
and then for you NASCAR fans that live under the rock or a rock, even though the rock was at the Daytona 500, NASCAR announced late last year that in 2025 there was a $7.7 billion media right deal between Fox, NBC, Warner Brothers, Amazon, and Discovery until 2033. I don't know why I wrote 2023 in the notes, so I apologize. And this is how it's going to work starting next year. I have to burp, excuse me. Fox will do the first 14 Cup races, basically what they always do. And then Amazon, Warner Brothers, and Discover Sports will be doing the next 8 races. And that's what Dale's going to be doing. And it's kind of smart for Dale because, let's be honest, you could say he is the face of NASCAR still, even though he's in the booth.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I think NBC and the NFL for the playoffs, I don't think they would have done that Chiefs-Dolphins game if it wasn't for the face of the NFL being in that game, Patrick Mahomes, right? And they got very, very good ratings for that. So I think people will be attracted to buy Amazon Prime or Warner Brothers or TNT or Bleacher Sports or whatever, or Bleacher Report, whatever streaming service is going to be. People are going to be willing to buy it because they want to see Dale Jr. So I do think it's smart by NASCAR. I do think it's a dumb move by NBC. And I think that's great for Dale because now he's only going to be doing 8 to 10 races versus literally July to November. Yeah. So that's all very interesting. And then after those 8 to 10 races, NBC, I think, is doing the final 12 or 14 races every single year. So I do think it's the right decision for Dale and his career. I think it should help Amazon and Discovery Sports and Warner Brothers, but it's going to crush NBC because, who do you bring in? Jeff Burton's great. Steve Letart's great.
Yeah.
But Dale just kept it real.
Absolutely.
And that's what you need. And that's why I think Kevin Harvick is going to do really well because he keeps it real. That's what you're hoping Tom Brady does, right? You hope when Tom Brady's in the booth for Fox next year for the NFL that he's not like a Clint Boyer that thinks everyone's great.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's needed, right?
Yeah.
You know, like Greg Olson is so good because he's just like, yeah, that was a terrible play call. You know, so that's
It's
gonna be
why
very interesting.
It's why Brady will be bad if he ever gets to a booth, which I don't think he will.
You don't think you don't think Brady will ever actually do a game?
No. Why would he?
Because he's getting so much money and he's obsessed with football.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think he'll say anything that's worthwhile. I don't think he has it in him to like, be mean about other guys like in the broadcast.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
then
don't.
I'm not
You know what I mean?
interested in it.
I don't feel like he's. I don't know. Maybe he
Okay.
will. Maybe he'll be great.
I hope so. All right, well, let's talk fantasy. Go over
All
these
right.
3 weeks. Who's doing well so far? Who's not? I think it
All right.
rhymes with me and you.
Let me put a. Let me share ours. Let me see if I can find my screen here. All right. Here we go for Fantasy Live. So for Daytona, well, look at that. Double
You
jump.
messaged me like right away.
And
like-
and ladies night
Like right
race.
away.
So,
Oh, what do you know? I won again. Yes, we're aware. You're
Yep.
very good at NASCAR fantasy.
Yep.
Even though you cheat, you're good at it.
Yep.
We get it.
He's so and I did pull out drivers that have not submitted we're 3 races in, so if you haven't submitted anything, you're out. So we got 14 people in the league right now. Thankfully, Bubba Boucher is there because otherwise I would be dead last after Daytona. All right, so 70 points Daytona. That was not good. All
You
right.
know, and I'm okay with that. It's Daytona. It
just,
could have been any other way around.
that wreck was just nuts. So then
Yeah.
Atlanta. All right, NASCAR Nate, NASCAR guy, and then ladies night race and left turns for days. The other 2 Capolis, excellent. Double Trump was 5th. Bubba Boucher, big rebound, nice job. There you are, 7th. Thanks for these. Johnny doesn't drive and Dewey Ryder. Dewey Ryder's a good one too.
I feel like the next gen car really messed up Dewey Driver's riding school.
Yeah. So there
I
we
feel
go
bad
for that.
him.
And then let's hit Las Vegas. Hey, I came in
Nice.
second finally, and that was with Dan. So last week, I told you the week before Atlanta, I pulled Kyle Busch, put him in the garage, and it cost me like 40 points I left in the garage when he finished like 3rd. So this week, we're coming up to it. Kyle Busch is running in the top 10 all day. So I'm like, I'll leave him in there. And then he, screws me and I lose 30 points in the garage. I finished second and I'm 30.
Oh boy, did I lose you?
Right there, 3rd.
Did I lose you, Brian?
Rebound. And let's see. You were 8. You lost. Oh, you're still there? Hello?
Are you
Still
still
with me?
there?
My connection is unstable.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Am I back?
You're back. It
Am I back?
was pretty shaky there for a second.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and
Yes,
now it's
I
back
just
to
got
being shaky.
my connection is unstable.
Yeah. See,
I'm going to stop sharing the screen.
Okay.
All right.
I'm okay with, so like when you look over the overall league standings, like ladies night race is first, the double champ, the NASCAR guy, left turns for days. I'm happy where I am, even though I am in 10th, and I don't think I've ever been this low. I'm happy with that because looking at my roster or what I could do this week, I have yet to use Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, and William Byron. I have not used any of those guys once in the first 3 races. And
Nice.
I'm 10th. I'm perfectly content with
I
that
think
because
Kyle Busch is the only guy that I have used twice now.
I've used Corey LaJoy
and now I'm
twice.
never going to use him again.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't trust the super speedway, so I'm not going to waste it's obviously worked out for Jen and Nate and John. But yeah, just not comfortable using the big names on the super speedway tracks because you just never know.
Yeah. And when you see all 3 members of the same house who, have questionable fantasy pasts,
More
I'm not saying,
fantasy morals.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they cheat, but
It's pretty
you know,
obvious.
it just, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a documentary, just like the Dynasty, about their.
Haven't
their
watched it
fantasy.
yet. I'm waiting for all 10 so I can sign up and then watch them and then delete.
You can tell Mr. Kraft produced it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, we're going to Phoenix.
Yeah.
The or as some people like to call it, still the Jeff Gordon Raceway.
Well, Kevin Harvick won't win this one, but he'll plenty to say about it.
And I literally put that in my notes. It's
Yeah.
where was it? I just said first race without Kevin Harvick here. Just seems weird.
Yeah.
Just seems weird. But the Shriners
I'm excited to see what he'll have to say about it, though.
Oh,
yeah, like
glued in, locked in.
I mean, he owned this track for a section of his career. It's like, how many did he win in a row? It was like, or he won like 3 out of 4, and like he really dominated this track. So I'm curious to see what he has to say about it in the booth. That will be kind of fun.
Yeah, no, it'll be really, really cool. And especially because there's a new aero package. Brand new aero package for this track. So
all right, bring your webbed gloves.
Yep. So here we go. So race is Sunday on Fox 3:30, practice Friday at 5, qualifying 2 on Saturday, all on FS1. But this aero package, it will not be used at Dover and Bristol, but it will be used for a majority, if not the rest, of the short track races and all the road course races this year.
Okay.
Only 6 teams have tested it, and it was in December for 2 days, and that was it. So the major change is a simplified rear diffuser with fewer vertical strakes. That configuration allows downforce to be cut by keeping the engine panel strake free and retaining splitter stuffers from last year's aero package on short tracks. So to counteract the loss of downforce, NASCAR officials have decided to introduce a slightly taller rear spoiler. One of the crazy things about what Larry Mack did, I don't know if it was Daytona or Atlanta, he broke down the size of the spoiler on how it's like 7 inches versus the 3 inches. That was insane.
Wow.
Absolutely so cool how he broke it down and how the air flows and what it so cool.
Yeah.
So basically, they're going to be giving you a slightly taller rear spoiler, which will sit at 3 inches in height for the upcoming season rather than last year at 2. So they are losing the downforce, but they're going to gain more speed with the aerodynamics. And Chase Briscoe, basically what he's seen on paper, and Chase Briscoe, which you're about to find out, is very good at Phoenix. He thinks it will put this will put the race in the driver's hands and not the car's hand, which right then and there, I'm down, which can also lead to a lot of slipping and sliding. He thinks it's going to be easier passes for a lot of guys in this race, which again, loads of fun, especially on short tracks, right? So I think a lot of the talk that Mike Joy and Kevin Harvick and everyone is going to be talking about is this new aero package. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Kevin Harvick kind of does the color commentary based on that. But last time we were here at Phoenix, Ryan Blaney, we all know, won the championship. Ross Chastain won the race after leading 157 laps. William Byron led 95 laps. Your top 10 was Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, William Byron, and Chris Buescher, followed by Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Michael McDowell, and Bubba Wallace. Chris Buescher and William Byron.
Bubba's having some good runs too. Did we hit the standings real quick?
No, we didn't. So Bubba, even though he has 2 top 10 finishes this year,
did
do great at another track I'm having a brain fart on. And he's still, he's in the top 16. He's in the playoffs. Same thing with John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones. I mean, Noah Gragson finished like in the top 10 at Las Vegas. He's having a very quick and solid return.
Nice.
And you could argue with better equipment, Stuart Haas, Stuart Haas has been pretty good this year. Not probably up to Tony Stewart standards, but they've shown up better than what they did last year.
Yeah.
So, all right. So last 4 races to help everyone with fantasy, your top 5 in points. Well, technically top 6 because Kevin Harvick was number 2, but I had to take him out.
Yes.
So Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe, and Kyle Larson have gained the most fantasy points in the last 4 races. Ryan Blaney has finished not only in the top 10 in every single of the last 4 races, but also he has 4 straight top 5 finishes at Phoenix. So just when you thought Ryan Blaney's 3rd place in the standings couldn't get any better, it's going to a track where it could happen. But this new aero package could change a lot of things for a lot of drivers. Who knows? But Ryan Blaney's obviously unbelievably talented. Ross Chastain has 3 top 5 finishes here in the last 4 races. Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, William Byron, and Tyler Reddick have 2 each. Best average finish over the last 4 races. Ryan Blaney, 2.5. Is that good? Is that the high score? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? William Byron, Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe, and Joey Logano all have an average finish inside the top 10. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, right? Some drivers to stay away from. Chase Elliott has an average finish here in his last 4 races of 18.3. Austin Cindric has only finished on the lead lap 1 time in the last 4 races. And then, even though Bubba Wallace has 2 top 10 finishes this year, and last year finished the last time we were at Phoenix, finished in the top 10, he has 2 races where he didn't finish on the lead lap. And that goes the same for Michael McDowell. So that's where it kind of gets weird. And I remember we talked to Steve Letarte a couple of years ago about how he kind of figures out fantasy when he was doing fantasy for NASCAR. And it's like, do you go by the last 2 weeks or do you go by the last 2 races? Right. Like, how do you go about that? So if it was based on this season, I would put Bubba in. But because of the past, I would not put Bubba in. And that's where it gets a little dicey, if you will.
Yeah. I like it. All right. And then what do we got for fantasy matchups? You want me to give you the fantasy matchups?
I'm really enjoying these because when you look at who has the most top 5 finishes over the last 4 races, it's number 1 is Ryan Blaney. Number 2 is Ross Chastain, and they're going head to head.
Well, there you go. All right.
Love that. And then you got Denny and Chase because, I mean, I'd take that every day of the week.
Yep.
Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell. 2 solid. Christopher Bell, I put in my lineup last week. I thought he was going to finish strong, and then he just got in a couple bucks. That's that. And then finally, Ty Gibbs versus Alex Bowman. A guy
I just lost your. Hang on, you just move your mic, and it sounds weird now.
What about now?
Maybe it's on my end, but it sounds weird.
Hello.
Oh no, it sounds very weird. We almost made it too. All right, so yeah,
everything's plugged in on my end properly.
Ooh, it sounds really freaky. Anyway, we'll wrap this up. We'll get it done.
Yeah, I'm plugged. And now it's.
Wait, you can't hear yourself anyway, can you?
No, I can.
Oh, there you go. Right there. Don't touch it.
Okay. All right. But yeah, Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman's had a good year. Ty Gibbs, talented.
Yep.
No complaints. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, Phoenix is always a fun track. And with this new aero package, it's either going to be a big hit or a big miss. Yeah. And hopefully it's a big hit to keep the good vibes for these new fans.
Well, they must have felt good about it in the testing. So, I mean, and I think it'll be good.
For sure.
See how it rolls. All right. Who you got?
Ross Chastain.
Ryan Blaney.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I love that.
Hey, there you go. I'm going to pick my guy. That's it. We got one down. Who knows when the next one will be?
Yeah, probably May.
We'll try to do it every couple of races, maybe every week. Who knows? Schedules are tough right now. But thanks for joining the Wicked Fast podcast. You can find us on all the socials at Wicked Fast PDCST on the Twitter X, and then everywhere else at Wicked Fast podcast. We've been streaming this on YouTube. You can subscribe so you get the little notification whenever we go live. Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, find us wherever you have your socials.
All that good stuff.
Download it, follow it, like it, click whatever. It's all good. And thanks to the crew over at Big Night Entertainment and all the fun stuff they got going on over there. And thanks, Timmy G. that it?
Yeah, great. Yeah, great chatting with you again. We'll talk to you guys next week. And, just got to give one more shout out to Micro Madness if you're into micro sprint cars.
That's okay. That's it. Micro
Go check
Madness.
it out. It's just on YouTube. It's just on YouTube. Nowhere
All
else.
right.
So go check it
Cool.
out.
All right.
Happy for them. So
Sounds good.
they're like young kids, and it's really cool. And they do like their own like highlight video edits and stuff. It's pretty impressive.
It's probably better looking than
Our
our
podcast is so much better though. So keep listening to us though.
Yeah, ours is like bigger.
Yeah, we started
Theirs is
this.
mini.
We started this. It's been 9 years. We started all of this.
Ooh, 9 years. Wow.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
We were podcasting before it was cool. And
Confirmed.
now we've made it through till it's not cool anymore. So there you go.
Until
We'll see you
now,
next-
everyone
see you
hates
next-
us.
See you next
Bye-bye.
week. Okay, bye.